I'm so glad I came to school today. I came to school today. I came to school today. I'm so glad I came to school today. I came to be with all my friends. And friends, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm going to be talking about I wanted to get started with some ideas for football season. Now, I live in the South and football's king down here, but you can adapt these ideas. Last week I was in northern Minnesota and their thing is hockey. So if you're into baseball or basketball, adapt these to the different holidays that are really keen in your area. So one thing that you can do with football is you can talk about who do you think is going to win the game this weekend and who do you think is going to lose, and you could do a survey, and then on Monday when the scores are in you could compare who guessed right, who guessed wrong. You could estimate the total number of points. Another thing that I think is fun to do is to let the children take their favorite player and they could make a jersey with the favorite player's number on it, and the older kids could do different combinations that equal that amount. So, you know, these things I'm sharing with you are fun for younger children, but these are also great for primary grade children. They could do some really complex ways to make that different number. An internet search would be great for their favorite football team to find out, you know, where the college is and their mascot, and maybe listen to the fight song and the colors. I know a lot of schools let the teachers dress up in their school jerseys on Friday. It's good to start talking about college. You know, I was at a school last spring and the principal said, "Can I see a college-bound hand?" And you know, what a great way to instill that seed in children that I'm going to college and thinking about college. Now, another thing that you can do is you can let them make pennants. And look how simple this is. You know, a triangle, and you can attach it to a straw or a stick. But they could use the pennant and they could write sight words. They could write numbers they're working on. They could draw shapes that they're working on. Any skill that you want to reinforce, instead of giving them a worksheet, let them make a pennant to go along with it. Now, another thing that's fun to do is to bring in your newspapers and let the children cut out pictures of different sports events, and then they could write a descriptive story about that. It's also fun to let them cut out some athletic characters and make puppets with them, and you know, talk about what does it take to be an athlete and how you have to eat good healthy foods and how you have to exercise. One of my favorite ideas that a teacher shared during football season was that she had a map of the United States, and like each week she would say, let's see where our Georgia Bulldogs are playing this weekend. Well, they're playing in South Carolina, so we just have to walk to South Carolina. And she said it was amazing the number of states that children could recognize just from following their different sports team. Now, okay, I'm a Georgia Bulldog. I graduated from Georgia, so I'm making UGA the part of this next game. And this is just the easiest game, and it's so much fun, and the kids love it. So you get your school mascot, and you cut it out. And then the good thing about this game is you can use sight words, you can use letters, you can use dots, you can use numbers, anything that you want to reinforce. You put it on your flashcards, and you can put these in a pocket chart, or you can just lay them on there. I think it's under play, and they look under play, not there, and they continue calling out different pieces of information and then looking. Now, another one of my favorite holidays in September is Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's coming up September 19th. And so you wad it up and you end up with something that kind of looks like old parchment, and children could make a treasure map. And this would be a good time to talk about north and south and east and west. You could even teach my little song. The sun is rising in the east, the sun is setting in the west, my nose is north, my tail is south, and so I turn myself around, and the sun keeps rising in the east and setting in the west. And it might not be a part of your curriculum, but these are the things children remember, and someday they are going to need to know it, and why not sing a song about it? Now, you could also use that parchment for the older kids, and they could write a story about being a pirate and what they'd like to find in a treasure chest. And of course, I have to wear my pirate gear. This is just a little mustache with tape on it, and my eye patch. There we go. And so this is just, you know, like a little oval stretched over a string, and the mustache had just as a little piece of paper with tape on it, and see who can keep their mustache on the longest. Now, another holiday in September is Read a Book Day, and that should be every day. I found that sometimes if my kids made a bookmark, they were a little bit more interested in getting into a book and reading it. And so one of the bookmarks that's fun to make is with the sole of their foot. If they just do a rubbing of the bottom of their foot, and then you can use it and say, step into a good book. Or you could let them take off their shoe and trace around their foot and cut it out, and there's another bookmark, step into a good book. Carolyn Kozlowski, and they get to sit in that special place and read a book. And this would also be a good thing to do with a partner. Now, Make a Hat Day is coming up, and but you can make hats any day and tie them in. Tie it into, again, what you're working on. You could do a letter hat, a number hat, a vocabulary word hat, a spelling word hat. And of course, it's always good to make hats for different characters, and you could act out your favorite character in a book, or just let them make a hat about their favorite character that they like, or what they want to be when they grow up. And then here's a hat that you can use for classroom management. And I had forgotten this because I wrote something about tattletales a few weeks ago, and somebody said, yeah, but Jean, you forgot to mention the problem solver that you wrote about in one of your books a long time ago. And so I was thinking, each day you could choose a king or a queen, and the king or the queen could be the problem solver of the day. So, and how they use rocks to help them understand the history of our planet. And if you take a egg carton and just cut it in half down the middle to build with, and all the different ways we use rocks, you could also let them each find a rock and study your rock and describe your rock, and then you put all the rocks in a basket and you pass the basket around and see if they can find their special rock. That's such a fun thing to do. Another day that's coming up at the end of the month is Bubble Gum Day, and who doesn't like bubble gum? And so one of my favorite little songs, bubble gum, chewy, 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 bubble gum, chewy, 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 bubble gum. I love it, chewy, 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 bubble gum. I love it, chewy, 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 bubble gum. And then we do it slower. Bubble gum, and then we do it faster. Bubble gum, bubble gum. Yeah, it's just fun to take a song and sing it faster, or try to hurry through things. This is just a good way to help them get a little self-regulation and calm down a little bit, because they love to chew that gum. Another day coming up is Pizza Day, and so you can let the children do a how-to writing, how to make your favorite pizza. You could do a graph of your favorite pizza topping, and I've shown you this before, but these are great for graphing activities as well as for the block center and sense of self-esteem, just to put the children's photographs and their name on a block. And then when you do graphing activities, they can put their block by the one they like best. If you don't have wooden blocks, if you work with older kids, a good graphing activity is just to put their pictures on an index card, and you can use that for some comparisons and some bar graphs. This is a little pizza craft they get to take the paper plate and color their pizza, and then they cut out the toppings that they like. And then if you put little bits of glue on here and sprinkle oregano or Italian spices, it smells like a pizza. Now, I've been told if you're pregnant, this is not a good art activity to do because it makes you a little ill. I also have a game coming up for pizza day, and this game you just need a pie pan and put some sauce in there, and then I've cut, you know, sausages and cheese and green pepper and pepperoni and mushrooms and things like that out of Fun Phone. And then the children have their recipe cards, so they look at the recipe and then they follow the recipe and make that pizza. Your older children could write their own recipes and then add up the amount and put it on the bag. So just simple little ways that you can take an ordinary day and just make it a little bit more memorable and a little more special. And you know, the best part about this is I think it brings you joy because it brings out your creativity. And I hope you've seen how, yeah, I have integrated all of, you know, standards and skills and social, emotional, and learning with friends, all of these things that we integrate together that are so important for children. Well, I've got a few extra minutes and I wanted to do one more thing with you before I leave today. I wanted to make a picnic book for you. You know how I love blank books. And so this is the picnic book, and I'm going to tell this story. And yes, I have done this with kindergarten children, but when I do it with younger children, I do it with a small group at a time, maybe 4 or 5 kids, and that way you can help them with making this book. So this is a story about one day I went on a picnic. So here's my picnic basket, and I'm going to put some hot dogs in my picnic basket, and I'm going to put some hamburgers in my picnic basket. And a picnic is a whole lot more fun if you have a picnic bench to sit at so you don't get all dirty. All of my memories. So if I just fold it down like that and wrap the pages around, I have a little picnic. You could make a little book to go along with that. And one of my favorite things to do with these picnic books is to save the little cereal boxes, the individual cereal boxes. And many times at hotels that serve breakfast, they serve the boxes in this. So if you know somebody that stays in hotels or somebody that works there, they might be able to save these for you. But the great thing about these little cereal boxes is the children can cover these, and it's just the right size to hold these little picnic books. And so they could do a different book every day and save it in their little box, and then they'd have a little treasure box of books to take home, all the things that they're learning. And you know what? If you can't get these little boxes, you can use bigger cereal boxes or cake boxes or anything like that. That's just a special way to save the books for the children. So I hope you've learned at least 5 new things. Arrgh, way to go, matey. And I'm going to give you the parrot chair. Look, you did a good job. Look, you did a good job. And just a little advertisement before I go. If you haven't checked out the happies that Carolyn Kozlowski and I did, there's one for each. Call me and I'll help you. Take care. God bless.